what came first, the solo work or the group?
The solo work come first. I was writing a few songs a few years ago, well 2006, 7 sort of time. And I went to do a music production course in Southend, and the solo work started getting better, and a couple of the blokes off the course were putting on acoustic nights, and that's where I first started gigging. And then I was always coming down here to the drop-in, and a few of the other people would play guitar just as we're sitting about now. There'd be a guitar about, and eventually Tony, our drummer from the band, suggested we all got together and go to a rehearsal room just in an informal sort of way, and that's gone really well. But I've always wanted to continue the solo stuff, so I like having my own work sort of thing. You know?
So as a solo artist, who are your influences?
Smashing Pumpkins, a big one. Led Zeppelin, Nick Drake. Well, I sort of claim to be influenced by him. I don't think I can play the guitar or anything like him or what have you, but he's one of my favourite artists, and I may want to do that. A lot of alternative bands from the 90s is probably the most I've got into. Like when I suppose Nirvana come along and I started liking rock again. So I got massively into Smashing Pumpkins. You got people like Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth. And Mogwai, they're a big one as well. There's a review of my stuff that mentioned Mogwai and Sonic Youth, which I was really happy about.
So that early '90s, I guess, from the grunge scene, etc., the Seattle scene, was that you felt that was a real creative breeding ground?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, there seemed to be a lot of good bands coming from the same. I think in '91, I think Nirvana chose the lineup for the Reading Festival, if I heard that right, and I think there's a lot of people from that scene just all come over, and apparently it was a brilliant sort of festival, but I was too young for that one.
So you're a solo artist, but you also play with a band?
Yeah.
Does that conflict in any time?
No, luckily I've never had anything that's. The only thing I can think of is if the dates were to get mixed up with gigs or whatever, but I've not really had that happen so far, and they do help each other out in a bit. Like, the band's helped me to develop as a guitarist, and it just keeps me occupied having the two things to do. I've got a lot of time on my hands generally, and apart from having a baby now, but it's all good for each other really.
So as a solo artist, you say what goes.
Yeah.
Is there a conflict in the band when do you not want to chip in about things, or is it quite a democratic band?
Yeah, it's very democratic. Yeah, the songs tend to come about quite organically really. One of us will have something to start a song off with, and we'll all work on it together without really telling each other what to play or falling out or anything. And I think we're lucky like that. I remember being told before I ever got in bands by a bloke I knew who had a lot of experience of it. He said the hardest thing to get right is the band politics. And I sort of asked him advice thinking he'd tell me something about a guitar trick or something, but he said if you start telling people what to do and they want to leave the band, you're not going to get anywhere sort of. And luckily we all sort of quite adult about it and work well,
We've mentioned your influences, but how has your songwriting come along?
It's definitely improved. I think in the past I used to have really weird sort of song structures, like pretty simple. I don't want to go into the music theory side of it, but I used to try and steer clear of sort of verse, chorus, whatever, and I've sort of developed hopefully my own sort of guitar style, and looking back I think I should do that a bit more, sort of more of a commercial song structure, but with that playing going on at the same time. Because in the past someone told me that, well, a couple of people said the songs were a bit short, and like sometimes there's a verse, and there might be a bit of guitar work and a verse, and then there'll be a guitar again. Like, there's more songs lately that I've done that have got choruses and mid-late, and sort of more without losing the sound that I had in the first place, I suppose. They're better structured and longer generally.
And as a solo artist, what about playing live? Do you get many opportunities?
Yeah, I've got quite a few places where I play. I've got like 4 booked up at the moment. There's a acoustic night in Ockenden that I've been putting on myself, or sort of helping to the pub to put that on. I sort of play there every time I do that, and I've got one coming up in Waterloo, one in Chelmsford and one in Westcliff, which is probably the busiest time I've ever had for gigs the next month or so, but I'm trying to step things up and that, so looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Thanks very much.
an audience applause on them.